Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot Delki speaking. Welcome aboard this special Juice TV flight. Today we'll go on a journey through soundscapes and different cultures. Now fasten your seatbelts and get ready for takeoff. Inspiring our journey is QPAC's newest ensemble in residence, JADE New World Collective. Imagine Indigenous Australian music integrated with Western classical sounds blended with a traditional Asian infusion. Sounds like our eardrums are in for a tasty treat. First stop on our journey is right here in Australia with the Indigenous Didgeridoo guru. David, what role does music play in your culture?
It plays a very important role in culture and in my life. I find music, the didgeridoo or the yidaki, is a tool to communicate and share and celebrate Aboriginal culture.
Can you show us some tricks?
Yes, certainly. The didge has a lot of really cool different aspects. So if you just hold your mic there, I can play into it. So that's what we call a drone. So it's a I guess, the undertone of an instrument, similar to a bagpipe. And then we can sing into the instrument. And then we can mimic animal sounds, birds, and a range of things that we use traditionally. And then we can use the different shape of their mouth to get a different timbre or a different tone through when we're playing our drone. And then once we put that all together, we have an array of different, I guess, elements that is the didgeridoo. And this is what we call a clapstick. It's similar to, I guess, a drummer in a band playing the drums. This is our rhythmic instrument as well.
How do you learn to do all those skills?
So as I said, learning and playing trombone from an early age, getting a lot of that breathing and a lot of those aspects. But I guess later on in life, when I became more serious about the didgeridoo, it was about practicing that more. One of the things that you might have noticed me doing is something that we call circular breathing. So that allows you to play for a long time, and what that's doing is you're not actually just taking a super big breath. You're actually able to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth at the same time as you're doing that. So it allows you to play continuously depending on what you're doing.
That seems really complicated. Now we're off to Japan to meet the Koto master, Takako. How do you play this Koto?
Yes. So we normally use 3 picks, and then this is a traditional version of a Koto, and which has 13 strings. So you can either use 1 pick or 2 or 3. It's a bit out of tune. And also sometimes you use a back of pick, so it goes a scratchy sound, or side, or tip. So different tone of the color you can make.
That's really cool.
So we have 3 picks, and then if you just strum, do you want to have a go from the top to bottom? It's a bit out of tune, but yeah, as long as it's tuned properly, which not quite now, it sounds pretty good. You can go faster as well.
It sounds like something you'll find in like a Japanese samurai movie. How does the Japanese culture influence Jade's music?
I think Japanese has a culture of beauty to respect the simplicity. So I stay in that culture or tradition, but then you modify yourself to adjust to match to other instrument, and also the modern culture in Brisbane as well.
Next up on the itinerary is Nepal to meet a tabla virtuoso.
The instrument I play is called tabla. This particular drum is a talking drum, the tabla, the bass and the treble. This one is the spare one that I use that if I'm playing in the different keys. So mainly this is the set of tabla, and I also have got the small drum called madal, and that's from Nepal. And when people are going for hiking up in the mountain, they play that instrument. So this is the tabla, this is what I play. So this is also known as a king of the percussion instrument now. So of course we used to play in the temple music for meditations and all that. Now we do rock and roll, we play with the different groups like JADE. So we are doing fusion music with using the tabla. Wow, keep doing that.
My co-pilot Lux is going to help me out with this one.
You're doing almost like what I was doing.
Why do you use a hammer?
This hammer I use to tune my drum. This is how I tune. See? So it goes high when I go down, hitting it down, striking it down, and I tune it here also. Like that.
You love it? Yeah, that's good.
Folks, we will now be turning the aircraft around and making our way back to Australia to meet Artistic Director Dr. Anthony Garcia. So Anthony, how has your background inspired you musically?
It had a big influence because I was born in the south of Texas in the United States, and my father was a Mexican-American, and so the music he listened to as a kid was a lot of Mexican music, which had a lot of guitars. But from there I also got an opportunity as a child to live in Asia, and so I was also inspired by the music of different parts of Asia, Indonesia, Singapore. So I've had this really interesting fusion of a life living in different cultures, and as well as growing up and living in Australia. So I've been influenced a lot by a lot of different cultures here as well. So altogether, that makes for a kind of an interesting fusion of styles and cultures that influence the way I play the guitar.
It's a lot of countries.
It is a lot of countries, yeah.
Tell us what you're playing here today.
So today we're making a hybrid music which is built out of all of these different cultures together. You use a technique from one culture and mix it with a sound from another.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
And when you put these talented musicians together, you get JADE New World Collective. What do you hope people will feel when they listen to your music?
Well, that's also very important questions. The music that I play, I strongly believe a healing process and also peaceful, the music that we collaborate all together with JADE. So when we are playing, they can close their eyes and take them into different journey, different parts of the world, and yet we are together, we are one, and peaceful, happy, enjoy it. That's what I want them to feel.
So
Delki, today you learned so many things about what we do as artists. So tell us about your experience.
Well, I currently play the baritone sax, which I've been playing this is my 3rd year, I think. And I'm also currently singing in the Gold Coast Choir. So going on 7 years. So yeah.
As these cultural sounds continue to embrace one another, I've learned that no matter who you are or where you're from, you can always rely on music to help you feel a sense of connection and belonging. On behalf of Juice Airlines, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this musical journey. We look forward to seeing you again for our next adventure. I'm your pilot, Delki, over and out.